Musings by Nikki. I am here today with the beginning of probably a couple videos working on some Tracie Fox design team stuff. Yes, I still am on the design team. I have just been very much neglecting my duties, well, you know, because I've been moving. And until just really recently, I didn't have any of my stuff available to me. But now I unpacked everything, and if you watched my last video, which was my first one in like 4 months, you saw some Christmas journals, and that was mostly just to kind of break myself back in and get some stuff moving and get some stuff done. And I wanted to do Christmas journals. I wanted to do them far enough in advance so that, you know, like people had time to get them before December started. So that's been accomplished, and now we are on to Tracie Fox stuff. So in my absence, can we just talk about how while I've been on hiatus moving and without my things, she has put out some fantastic kits. Now, I know I say this about every single thing that I do with Tracie Fox. Pardon me, time for some tea. But these are also, today I'm working with mainly the two kits that she did in collaboration with Artie Mays. So the tag fab and the construction cards, and they are, okay, first of all, they're huge kits. You get a ton of stuff in each one of those kits. And then on top of that, they are, they're so awesome. They fit virtually any theme. Like, you could really just make these things. I saw Gail Agostinelli using some of the substrates, so like these background cards. I saw her using some in Christmas journals recently, and I was like, yeah, there's no reason you couldn't, because I mean, they're awesome. So I know you've probably seen a bunch of people work with them, but I'm going to be using them today to make this little I don't know, pockety bag thing. And I'm not sure if I'm going to glue it in or if I'm going to clip it in. I'm not really sure. I kind of like the idea of being able to like journal even on the back of this, but I'm not sure. But I do have 4 signatures, 4 like single signature writing journals set up just off screen over there. And so the stuff that I'm making now, the reason I'm making 4 of everything is because I am making 4 journals, 3 of which will go eventually in my shop. 1 of them is going to a Secret Santa that I am, exchange that I'm a part of. And so, yeah, anyway, let's just get to working on this. That's all I'm going to do. Let's just chat and catch up on life, hey? Okay, so first of all, on this one, what I've done is, the construction cards kit comes with like 3 main sizes of postcards. The big ones, then medium ones, which I don't know if I've got. Oh yeah, here. So like, this is a big size, this is the medium size, and this is the smaller size. This is how they sized out when I printed them just on my regular printing size. So I'm making the pockets on front with these, and most of all of them are already like, they sewed them. Pardon me, I'm a little froggy today. Most of them have been sewn, like I didn't sew them, they come this way. So they sewed them before they scanned them and put them into the kit. So if you don't have a sewing machine or can't be bothered to sew around things or whatever, it already provides you with this lovely sewing line that looks like it was sewed. It also makes it less bulky than if you sew and sew and sew around, a variety of things multiple times. So like up here, let's see. Yeah, up here it looks like I've sewn around the tags, but I have not. They just come that way. So, and then it comes with a ton of ephemera, which I have like all cut out and just literally laying all over the place right there. And then I've got a small tag in here, and that goes inside of this pocket. And then I've got one of the medium tags in here that I've just done some collaging on. And again, it looks like I've sewn around it, but I have not. And these are all journal cards as well. And then I've got a big tag in the back. And that goes in the actual sack itself. So we're just gonna chat as we make some more of these up. I am going to, so I just brought out all the pieces. I've got all the tags that I need that I've cut, and I think I've inked all of them. Yeah. And the pockets. And then I've got the bags here, the sacks that I'm going to use, and they've been coffee stained. I did sew around the edge of this one just because when I layered all of the other pieces on top of it, all of a sudden you saw this black sewing around here and this lovely sewing black thread around there, and then the bag just looked plain, and I was afraid it was going to get lost on the page. So I did sew right around the edge of the bag, as you can see right there. So what I'm going to do is quickly, and I did that before I glued anything onto the front. So I've got my other 3 sacks right here. I'm going to go quickly sew around these, and then I will be right back. Oh, these, by the way, just in case you want to know, are 4.5 by 7. So they would totally fit, you know, on a journal page and kind of take up the whole page, or they'd be a good tip in as well, or what, you know, you can do all kinds of things with them. So I'm going to go sew around those, and then I'll be right back. Okie dokie. Here we go. So I've got 3 bags that I have now sewn around the edges of. I think that just gives it a nicer border so it doesn't get lost on the page. Because this book I'm using a lot of neutral colors in, it's just going to be, they're being just plain like writing journal things. Anyway, so let us start off by, we're just going to go ahead and start decorating. Like literally all I'm doing is I've got over here, I've got like cheesecloth and some ribbon. I've got some lovely fabric ruffles that my friend Emily made me. Hi, Em. And some beautiful silk that I've been hoarding that I've been afraid to use, but I'm going to use some of it today. That's from my friend Amy. Hi, Amy. And so I've got some of that stuff over here. Like I said, oh, this is some tea bag that I have. That's actually, it's like cold brew bag. And then all around the top here, let me just show you. All around the top, I've got all of the little pieces of ephemera. These are some tickets that come from Tracie's ticket kit. But apart from that, all of this little stuff here is all stuff that comes with the tag fab and the construction cards. So you get, like I said, you get a lot of stuff with this kit. And so, and just tons of tags. I mean, I don't think I printed out more than once, but look at all this stack of tags that I've got here. And there are some that are a little more floral. There are some that are like have different hues to them. This one's a little more chunky, junky. But yeah, I mean, like that's a pretty green. Anyway, you get a ton. So we're just going to go one at a time, and I am going to, of course, get out my ink and I'm just going to do the top edge of this bag here because that gives that a little definition as well. And then we're just going to start decorating. So, how are y'all doing? It's been a long minute. And in my last video, which was literally just pretty much to show the Christmas journals and kind of get back to filming, which also feels still a little bit foreign to me right now, which is odd, I guess, but it's the reality of it. So if I feel awkward, if I seem awkward, it's because I haven't been doing this for a while. Also, in the meantime, my right hand has developed some sort of, I don't even know what it is. I'm hoping it's not arthritis, although I'm going to guess it's arthritis. Thank you, Mom. And Mom's whole side of the family, actually. I don't think I inked these. And I don't like a white edge, so I'm going to ink around them. I did the tags, but I didn't do these, so. Anyway, at times, well, those I did. Oh, no, I did. Okay. Haha, I was so prepared, you guys. We are going to need this out though, because we're going to need to ink any of the little ephemera bits that we do. Anyway, so my right hand has developed this like inability to cope with life sometimes. And I'm off centering just a little bit because, you know, I like that. And yeah, most of these don't have like a top or bottom to them. They just have a, you can kind of pick however you want them to go on there. So my right hand, and my hands have been getting numb, which is also another lovely thing. Right now today, we're cooperating and doing pretty good. That's how come we can film today, because I don't have to stop and shake my hands out a bunch of times. Although if you see me do that in the video, it's probably rather subconsciously, because I've just gotten so used to having to stop and shake my hands out. All right, see how that layers up? Oh, probably. See how, so once I layer these all up, now you have the sewing here, and the sewing here. I think it just gives it some lovely consistency. So we're going to put this on as a tag. And it means I don't have to do extra sewing around these. You totally could. And I did on some other ones that I was working on for some other elements in these journals on a day when my hands were not cooperating as well. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue the same elements on. It's kind of like mass making, right? Like we're kind of mass making, kind of, a la Shabby Dabby Doodah. So this would kind of dictate that, but I really like, I don't want to lose that. But if I go like this, it's totally upside down. You know what, if I go like this, I'm going to cover it up anyway. So we might as well go for it this way. So my hands, it is what it is. I can still craft. Look at this. Today I can craft. My hands only feel slightly numb and I'm good to go. I kind of think I have a pinched nerve or something. And that's probably just from all the craziness of moving and, you know, adjusting to new things. And with the fibromyalgia, the body just doesn't like to do that stuff sometimes. But I love where we live. And we live now in a little tiny town of arguably 200 people in way north Minnesota. I say arguably because the signs say 200 people, but my mom is part of like the county, not county, what is it called? Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. And my mom's watching this, but anyway, she's part of, you know, because of the job that she does, she's part of some of the other like meetings about things and stuff. And I know that they've said that it's been under 200 for a while now, like in the 180s, 190s. So, I mean, whatever way you cut it, we're a small town. We like to joke that when we moved in that maybe we brought it back up over 200 though. Because the house that we're in was just owned by a single woman. So she, you know, we brought 3 more bodies. We replaced her and brought 3 more bodies. Oh man. But we love it. It's called North Home, like North Home, but only 1 H. I will try to remember to like insert a map here or something. So I can show you where we live. It is way up north in Minnesota. So we previously lived in the Twin Cities, as most of you know, because, you know, George Floyd and riots and all that busyness. And we officially moved in here October 1st. There we go. we've got the bases done for those 3. Now we're going to, let's see, we're just going to start decorating these. I think we'll decorate these up first, and then we'll decorate the tags to go in them. And I think I want to do a little writing stamping on those. What am I doing? I've just got an unmounted, like, random writing that doesn't actually look like writing, but it looks like writing, but it doesn't actually say anything. That. I'm gonna just do a little few stamps of that on here, just to add dimension. And because I remembered, because most of the time I forget to do these things. And then I go, oh, I should have put some stamp on there. So I'm gonna do it right now. All right, did that, and remember to do that. So I had a butterfly down on the pocket of this one, and I think I want to put a butterfly on the pocket of each of them again. So let me haul out my, oh, I put my scan and cut through the paces the other day, cutting out all of this loveliness. So I want kind of a medium-sized butterfly. That's pretty. Anyway, so we lived in the Twin Cities, and during the riots and all the insanity, we had always been talking about wanting to move out of the Twin Cities a ways, just to have, yep, I like that, to have more space and a kind of, you know, a little more land and a slower pace of life. We've always been talking about that. We just assumed that it would be, you know, later when the girls had gotten out of school or something. And I think the riots and just the kind of the defunding the police stuff and whatever, I'm not going to get political, but it just made us feel less and less safe, and kind of hurried our decision. Plus, let me just tell you about this. While we were up here, we just really think this is a God thing too. I'm going to look for some, I had some little muslin behind them. Yeah, I'm just going to do I'm going to slice this into 3 strips of muslin. I'm going to rip. So when we were up here, when we'd come up here during the riots. If you don't know, Minneapolis, I mean, almost everybody, unless you live under a rock, and this is like all over the world. Most people know about the George Floyd, the killing of George Floyd. And that happened really close to our church, in Minneapolis. And so then rioting happened in Minneapolis, which was right where we live. Oh, that's weird, and I'm going to rip that off. So it got crazy, and we came up here for a break. So up here, Northome, Minnesota, where we are now, is actually where my parents live, and my sister, and my brother, and their families. So we've been the lone holdouts down in the Twin Cities for all this time, and they've all been living up here since I was 20. So, and I just turned 44 in October on the 12th. And so, so 24 years already. That seems crazy. If you guys are watching this, mom or family, 24 years, that's a long time. I'm going to make this one a little smaller since that butterfly is a little more square, and I don't have a raw edge on the side. So 24 years they've been up here, and we've been the lone holdouts down in the cities. There we go. And whoa, I'm just shifting my stuff all over. Let's undo that. I also had just clipped on a little safety pin on each of them. I'm going to clip one on just because, you know, texture. So we had come up here anyway during the riots, and that was just to kind of, well, I mean, honestly, it was to come and be safe for a little while, get away from the craziness that was, you know, National Guard helicopters flying over our house, and yeah, police sirens all night long, and playing the game that we liked to play in Brooklyn Center that we didn't like to play, that we ended up playing, called Is That Fireworks or Gunshots? There was a Facebook group for the community that we lived in, Brooklyn Center, and they were saying, what should our new motto for our city should be? Brooklyn Center, is that a gunshot or a firework? Because people were always asking. So not a funny thing to have to ask, but so anyway, I'm just like trailing all over the place. See what I said about awkward? But it's okay. It gives me something to talk about while I'm, you know, doing the same thing 3 times over. Now I'm going to just glue these down, but like I did on this one, I left the sides up a little bit so that it has a little dimension. So I'm going to do that here too. So I think I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac to glue the fabric part. You know, I wonder if I want to just, can I ink the edge of that a little bit? Yeah, zhuzh it up. Again, so many neutral colors in this that I don't want to lose the edges of things. Yeah, that helps a little. Define the edges. So we had come up here anyway to get some respite for the weekend right once the riots happened. And while we were up here, my parents live like a block off Main Street. So, I mean, you had to imagine, okay, the whole of North Home downtown is probably like 6 or 7 blocks, city blocks of space. So I'm going to, let me get a wipe quick. So they live a block off of Main Street. So there's maybe a neighborhood over there of you know, 8 or 10, you know, square blocks or something. And then there's another little bit back kind of a ways. But where they live, you can see Main Street from their front deck. And I was out there just having a cup of coffee and trying to chillax a little bit and unwind from the craziness in the cities. And I saw that this house was for sale by owner, and you could see it kind of across Main Street from their deck. You can see it from their deck, which is, there's a window right there. And when I look out the window, I can see my parents' house right there. So I saw that this house was for sale by owner, and it began this whole long kind of like conversation, this funny ha-ha, like, you know, oh, you should move up here. And that would get you away from the cities and the craziness, and that would get you away from, you know, whatever. And then kind of like as we were talking about it, it was like one of those moments where all of a sudden we're over here having a viewing of the house. And we're like, whoa, that escalated quickly, right? Because all of a sudden we're like, hi, we're here looking at this house. And we had no intentions of ever moving up this far, just because of Ade, my husband, Ade's work and stuff like that. And we had just thought if we moved, the conversation had always been that we would move like an hour away from the cities. Well, this is 5 hours. So long story short, we view the house. Then we start thinking rationally, and we're like, yeah, we can't, you know, my husband and I were having the conversation. We can't move. I'm going to give these just a slight bend like that, so I kind of know where I want to glue. We're like, we cannot move that far north. What if, you know, what if? And we're like, just for job reasons and everything, we can't move that far north. But it did start our whole conversation about, I think it is time for us to move though. And the housing market in the Twin Cities where we lived is really hot right now. So we were like, if we're going to sell our house, now's a good time to do it. So it starts this conversation, and we drive home through another town it's about an hour and a half away from where my parents, or from the Twin Cities, excuse me. And it's where my grandparents lived, and we call it the lake. But it's where we used to go all the time in the summers, and it's a little town called Cold Spring. Well, it's not as little. It's actually a decent-sized town, but it would be far enough removed from the city. So we thought, okay, maybe it's time we start looking. And I've got some cousins and family there, so it wouldn't be like moving into the complete, unknown of some other city without anything. And we would have a church there and stuff like that. So we drive home through that city, and Adi and I look around and we're like, okay, I like this. We could do this. Like, this is a cute little town. All right, so far those are looking super cute, huh? Okay. Now, so this is a pocket here, and this is a pocket here. I'm going to put just a few like decorations right here, because I'll show you again on my example, the small tag will go in here. And then I've just got a few little decorations here. Little bits of ephemera-y stuff. So we're going to go to, another sip. So we decide we're going to go through Cold Spring, and we're going to look over there. And there's a bunch of these cute little words that come with the kit. So we'll use some of those. We'll use some little tag pieces, things like this. Oh, look at this is my new apron that I made myself, guys, because I was so sick of, side note, I was so sick of having threads, and I wear black all the time. And so every time I would get up from the crafting table, I'd have threads and papers and little bits of glue and everything all over my black shirts. So I said, I know how to sew, and I have plenty of fabric. I should make myself a little apron. So I finally did. Anyway, where was I? We were in Cold Spring, Minnesota. Driving through Cold Spring, fell in love with some houses there. Thought, this will be slower here. We could totally do this. We should do this. So we went home, called our realtor, and started having the conversation about, kind of what should we do? And went through all the motions of getting our house ready to sell, which turned into a way bigger deal than we thought it would be. Not in as much as like, it being a big deal to sell our house or anything, but just meeting like we thought we would be keeping all our things in there and just emptying out, some of the things. We'll pack some of the stuff and then empty the rest out, and leave the rest in, and we'll just, stage our house or whatever. Take our personality out of it so that other people can see. Well, long story short, we end up redoing all the flooring, painting like every wall in the whole house, packing and emptying the entire thing. I need another piece for here and here. So all that starts happening, and then we realize, then we're at some point we're going, hold on, we're not going to be able to keep living here with our house torn up like this. I don't know, at some point we realized that. And so then we're like, okay, well, when we get to that point, Ade will just, stay in the cities to watch the house and everything, and the girls and I will go up north. Look at this kit comes with so much fun little stuff, and it all just is like random little bits and bobs, and they all go together so well that it's not, you don't have to work too hard. It's kind of, I don't want to say mindless collage, but you don't have to work hard for it, because look how cute these are. And we've barely just, I have not had to overthink. Had to overthink, like I have to any other time. So we decide that Ade will stay in the cities. So that poor man, bless his heart, slept on a blow-up mattress, and because of the Rona, he had to, he wasn't working at his office, he was working from home. So he was working from home on he had a coffee table as a desk and a chair, like an office chair, and he had, okay, and then I'm gonna put some cheesecloth behind that, and a blow-up mattress. And then he had freezer meals that we would buy when we'd go down to the cities to visit. And he was eating freezer meals and takeout food, and that's how he was living. So, and apart from us. And we came up here and lived with my parents in their spare bedroom for like most of the summer. So that was kind of a challenge, because I mean, it's a challenge to, not be at home in the first place, but also to be away from my husband, whom I do love and appreciate quite a bit. But we put our house on the market, and our realtor, who is an awesome realtor. If you live anywhere in Minnesota and you need a realtor, just call me up and let me know. I'll give you a good reco. He's someone that they're very good friends of our families. His family is very good friends of our family. So we put our house on the market, and he had already said, and we kind of knew, because of how hot the market was, we kind of knew that it would sell fast. Well, yeah. So we had on a Saturday, was it a Saturday or a Sunday? It was a Saturday, I think. Afternoon, we had driven from here down to the cities for my cousin's grad party, and it went on the market at like 2 o'clock while we were there. By the time we were driving home, we had accepted over 20 showings for the house, and then continued to get them. So in the first 36 hours of our house being on the market, I forget how many showings we ended up having. A lot. They were literally filled. You get to tell them which hours of the day you want to have showings, and it was filled up. There were no more spaces for people to have showings, because all the showing spots were full. So I think we had total over 35, I think, showings of our house in 48 hours. It was insanity. So, and we got offers. We got 6 total offers in 48 hours, which was, we had been prepared for it to sell quickly, because, that's kind of just the market at the time was going that way. We had no idea that it would go that quickly. So that was a whirlwind. And all of a sudden we were accepting a purchase agreement. And then we were like, crud, where are we going to go live? Because we have no plan for that. We had a plan. Our plan was to look out. We had been looking at houses, but not actually physically going out and looking at houses, because we were just, trying to sell ours. So then we started realizing really quickly, once the busyness of accepting our offer was done, and that was in August. So then we had to wait until the closing date, which was October. You have to go through inspections and all that sort of stuff. And meanwhile, we're like, okay, where are we going to move to? We've got to find a house. Well, we start realizing that, you know, the housing market is so moving so fast, which was awesome for us as sellers, but as buyers, not so much. So then we start realizing we're going to just have to buy a house where we find one that's available, not because we, you know, had cautious long time to choose what community we want to move into. Okay, quickly, break in the story time. So it was here in editing when I realized that if I kept going with this video would be an hour and a half long. I guess I'm just out of practice and excited to tell you guys all my story. So I'm going to break this thing into 2 sections and I will bring the next part to you tomorrow. So until then, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, middle of the night, whatever time it is, on whatever side of this fantastic globe of ours you live on. And until I see you in my next piece of this video, stay safe, stay healthy, take care, and God bless. Bye guys!